Hey, let's talk about games. Hello my friends and welcome back, Essex Hydra here, and today I'm going to be doing a 10 things you might not know about Martyr video. I've just come off of doing a sort of focus group with a bunch of new players to try and find out what exactly it is that they often don't know when they're jumping into this game. So hopefully for some of you new guys out there, and maybe for some of you that have been playing it a week or two already, this may be of some use. Now, on to feature number 1. If we start off by right-clicking our character portrait in the top left, we can click on the Mailbox feature. Now this will bring up, if you click on the inventory screen down here, this will bring up the opportunity to send some of your friends, or any other player for that matter, any loot or anything within your inventory. So very, very nice feature if you've got some gear that you know a friend is going to want. Obviously keep in mind the level requirements for the item, but if you've got some items that they might want, or heck, even if you want to send them some credits, you can do so. Obviously we can't share fate, that would probably be a little bit imbalanced and would lead to some form of gold selling within the game, and also there is no auction house feature. However, currently we can gift items to each other, and if you're in a Cabal setting you may be able to help some of your allies out. Now on to feature number 2, and this is the Consumables system. You'll notice there are certain buffs and certain effects you can get for a limited duration of missions via some consumables. Now I've got one active down in the bottom right down here, which is an extra death allowed. You can just hover over it to see what it does. An extra death allowed for 5 missions. There are lots of different consumables, some of whom will give you 50% damage bonus for 5 missions, some of which will allow you to reset your skill points. Now in order to activate something like this, you simply right click it, and for the sake of the skill points system, you will then go to a tree and you will get the option to reset down here while you've got this active. Now you can only have one of each active at a time, so you can keep a few in the bag stocked up and ready to go. Now while on this tab, this leads us neatly onto the progression tab, which is a very neat way for players to see what items they're going to unlock and when. You can scroll up, you can scroll down, but this is a really nice way to tell you as a player when you're going to be unlocking certain weapons, certain perks, certain ability types, etc. It's a very, very handy way to map your progress, and if you're not sure on which of the subclasses unlocks weapons when, quickly make a character, have a little peep. Sadly you'll have to complete the tutorial and you'll be able to access this. I'm hopeful that someone will implement this into a Wikipedia soon to make it a little bit easier for players. Now number 4 is the subclass system, which is often mistaken for a subclass system comparable to other games. Within this game, if we select a subclass, let's say we go with the assassin over here, we now have a choice. We continue between 3 different quote-unquote subclasses. Now, what many people don't appreciate is this is really only affecting your leveling experience as the character. The main reason being is it seems that developers do not want you to have to level 3 different assassins to experience the whole of the assassin repertoire. What these characters do have an impact on is your starting gear, the order of the gear in which you unlock, and your starting perk. Aside from that, there really are no differences. Every weapon will eventually be available to every single one of these, every single other perk will be available to all of these, etc, etc. The thing is with this is just pick the playstyle that you like the look of. Either go melee, either go more assault based, or either go more sniper based, and then you will unlock the weapons that suit that sort of playstyle a little bit quicker and have a more enjoyable experience. Even the armor types as well, also freely interchangeable and non-restricted. Now number 5 is actually a feature that many people probably are aware of, but many forget. We have a dual weapon system within Martyr. We have the ability to have 2 weapons on every character. Potentially even 4 if you're carrying single-handed weapons, but you get what I mean. We press the tab button during missions to change between weapons, and I would implore anyone that's carrying a weapon, say like an autogun, that's incredibly sort of soft tissue flesh pain focused, to carry something that's also got some penetration in your offhand, because otherwise when you see some of those dreadnoughts, when you see a Lehman Russ, you're going to be there for half an hour trying to kill the damn thing. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you're going to have much more fun if you've got an ability to actually tackle armoured units, or even an AoE weapon if you've got a predominantly single target orientated main hand. Just keep this in mind and try and compensate for those in-game moments that are getting you a little bit frustrated using your offhand. You may find that your skill points aren't specced into it, but often actually having a weapon suited to the situation is much, much better than having 10-15 skill points invested in a weapon that's not particularly appropriate. So tip number 6 is the party power rating system, or this is what I've coined it anyway. Even though I've got a colleague here in the squad with me, if we go on a mission here, my power rating is used against the rating of this mission, so 534 against this rating to come up with the mission modifier. This mission modifier will apply to my ally as well, irregardless of what power rating he is. If he's higher, if he's lower, it really doesn't matter. The host of the mission creates the mission and everyone else joins that mission. So the host creates the mission modifier for the party. Just remember that. So when looking for a group in chat, really we don't need to be advertising our power ratings. They're not going to be relevant. Now the next feature I want to discuss with you is the actual movement possibilities within this game. If we go over to options and controls, you can change the up, down, left, right to WASD. And in terms of gameplay, this means that you can then have a free moving mouse while clicking. You can also, if you prefer to use this movement strategy, go into the options, go into gameplay and turn off click to move, which is going to make things a lot easier, and it's going to prevent you from accidentally moving to your mouse when you left click on sort of beside an enemy. But a very nice movement feature, movement pattern for people that don't like the traditional click to move system. Will suit some of you guys a little bit more. Also keep in mind as well that controllers are also compatible with the game, although because the menu hasn't been completely redesigned for consoles basically have a few less buttons they can use, so they have a few features taken away, so every now and again you do still need to use your mouse and keyboard even though you're playing with a controller. A little bit inconvenient, but unfortunately a side effect of not being able to trim down the options menu for the PC users. Now, one of my other favourite features for an assassin in particular, if we press the escape button here, bring up the options, we also have, to begin with, a standard ability to dodge up, down, left, right using W, S, Q and E. Why it's not WASD is beyond me, but a very nice way to avoid some incoming damage. However, a much better way I find is dodge to cursor, meaning you can use a W key to dodge in diagonal directions, you can go in between small areas, you can go from cover to cover quite easily. A very nice feature and really one of the defining moves of the assassin. It's not mandatory to use, but it certainly is a lot of fun. Now, one of my favourite features for this game is the tactical mode. Just before I kill these heretics over here, we have two different viewpoints which we can alternate between, which give us different information about fights, etc. We can have enemy health bars, we can have weapon ranges, we can have all sorts of different features. And if per se you only want to see your weapon range with the tactical mode, you can just have that selected, press escape, and then you can press the T button and now I can see the range of my weapon up here. If that's not sufficient information, you can obviously tick whatever you like and you can toggle between these two freely. If on both modes you always want the weapon range displayed, you can have it displayed on both, but you could then have the different factors being stronger highlights, let's say, so for rooms where there's lots of enemies coming. A very handy feature, and I'm surprised no one else has come up with this before. If another game has and I haven't given them credit, my apologies, but I've not seen this in an ARPG yet. Now, while we're here, let's kill some heretics.
You are gone.
Much better. And finally, for number 10, I'd like you guys to submit down in the comments below, what exactly have you found out since playing the game which you were unaware of when you bought it? Is there any information that I've not been giving to people? Anything that I've missed? Anything that could be useful? Anything in particular that you feel that I could help educate people with? For example, someone suggested to me today to do a crafting guide, because there's quite a few weird features within it and it's not particularly well sort of explained. So that's perhaps the one for this afternoon. Guys, you have yourself a great day. Leave a comment down below. I'll make sure to check it out and have yourself a lovely weekend. See you at launch on Tuesday.